Welcome to Driven by Janelle, the podcast where passion meets power and women take the lead on two wheels. What drives you to ride?
All right, guys. In today's episode of Driven by Janelle, we sit down with Diana Picone, the Secretary and Membership Lead of the Lone Wolf Hog Chapter and Coordinator of the Spokane, Washington Abate Chapter. As a driving force in motorcycle legislation and strong supporter of motorcycle education, Diana pushes for the safety of all riders and drivers sharing the road. So thanks so much, Diana, for being on my podcast. I appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for having me. This is such an important subject for myself and our community out here in Spokane. So we're very happy. You're one of our sponsors, and we appreciate that support.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, I'd love to just, kind of learn, so this is actually my first time meeting you. So I'd love to just kind of learn about your writing journey first, and then kind of what then brought you into kind of motorcycle safety and education. So I just have to ask, like, when did you get into motorcycles? What caused you to get into motorcycles, and what kept you going?
Well, mostly my two boys, of course, when they were younger and were able to start driving, they wanted to get motorcycles, which they did. And I had always been just a rider with their dad and following them all over. So that's where it first started. And then uh, just recently, about 4 years ago, with my boyfriend I had at the time, loved motorcycles. So I wanted to join in on that fun because I knew how much fun my boys had riding their Honda and Yamaha. So I just said, let's go ahead and, see kind of what this is about. And got my first Harley Davidson. I got a trike because I said, if I'm
Yeah,
going to get anything, I'm going to get a trike. So that way it's just easier for me to ride and
yeah.
enjoy. And I really, really enjoyed it. So I got involved with our local Harley Owners Group chapter here at Lone Wolf in Spokane and go on rides with them throughout, our riding season. It's not the same as many other places they can ride all the time, but I do not ride in the winter when we have ice or snow. I don't have snow tires or traction tires, on the motorcycle. So I just don't do that. But now
Yeah.
in the riding season is when I go. So 4 years ago and got involved with our group and then had someone come talk to us from Beta, Washington that was they were rebuilding a chapter here in Spokane and telling us what they do, which is safety awareness and also legislation for motorcyclists and education. So we went to one of the meetings because we wanted to make sure, that the roads are safe for motorcyclists. Because I've always been an advocate for my children and training at work or anywhere because I've been a manager for quite a number of years. And so that was kind of my whole induction into Beta, Washington, and learning more of what they did and getting involved. And then everyone here locally wanted me to be the coordinator. So I've been doing that for the last 3 years now.
Wow,
So
wow,
quite busy.
wow. So did you learn to ride 4 years ago, or did you learn to ride when your boys learned to ride?
Well, I learned to ride as a passenger because it's a little different,
Mm-hmm.
following and that. But I did, when I got my motorcycle, get my motorcycle endorsement because you have to have a trike endorsement here in Washington, not just a two-wheel endorsement, but for the trike. And so I did take a special class, which was really helpful and got my endorsement on my license. And so it works out really, really nice because it does handle quite different than a two-wheeler, the trike. So I have that, and I make sure, and I actually go to a lot of the trainings to learn when they do improvements or updates and get
Hmm.
that information.
And so how is it riding a trike versus, riding on the back of a two wheel?
Well, mostly it's a lot of strength as far as in your steering, because a lot of times on two wheels, you're leaning is how you'll move into the turns and go around. Where on a trike, you're having your strength and pulling and pushing on your steering. So it's quite a bit different as far as that goes. And my arms aren't as long as some people, so they have a little bit better maneuvering ability. Where so
Yeah,
I had to kind of lean a little more to put my whole body into it to get it to go around, and so that way it would help me not having to slow down so much and
right,
really be able to do what you're supposed to, which is of course braking when you go into the corner, and then easing into on the gas in order to go out of the turn. So that helped me become a better writer in those situations.
right, right. And so a Harley trike, because so I'm not super familiar with three wheel. I mean,
Hmm.
to be honest, I'm not super familiar with two wheel. Like I'm still learning myself. So, um, but the two wheels are in the back on the Harley, right? So it's different from like a
Right.
Can-Am. So the two wheels are on the back. Mhm.
Just like a three-wheeler, a Honda, three-wheeler, like they used to have those for the desert. And
Mm,
growing up in California, that was a real big one when we were younger, going in the dirt and the desert, using those when you go out camping. So very, very similar to those. And now they even have Can-Ams and spiders out there that have the two wheels in the front and one
mhm.
in the back. So those handle differently though, because you have both wheels in the front. So the you always got to try it out and take the class and kind of really practice before
Right.
you go out on any of those, because they are different. And then two, some are automatic, some, have the gears. So it's a stick and you have to kind of go through that process.
Right.
Hmm.
Right. Does it have like their rear brake and front brake
Yeah.
or?
They'll
Mm.
have the rear brake. What's nice with the Harley is they have a reverse on it. So it's great. You don't have
Oh,
to, push back. It has a real nice reverse. The newer models
nice.
now have that, where the older ones did not, but it works.
Wow.
Yeah, so it really helps when you're going backwards. You just got to push the button and then go into neutral, and you'll be able to go back. So it makes it really easy for parking or getting out
Yeah.
of spaces.
Yeah. Because I mean, a three wheel is going to be heavier than a two wheel. And
Right,
the two wheel, you can kind of lean if you're,
right.
reversing or,
Mhm, mhm.
you
Oh,
just
yeah,
have to
and then
reverse
you're
on your
able to
own.
touch the ground and just kind of maneuver it, because it
Hmm.
just takes up a smaller footprint, so you're able to
Yeah.
move easier. But you kind of get the feel of how much space you take up on a trike, so that way you can maneuver really well. And
Hmm.
I had a lot of people comment that, I write it and I keep up with the two wheelers really well. I know how they move. A three wheel can brake faster than a two wheel, so we can stop pretty fast, which is unusual.
Hmm.
Usually a motorcycle takes a while, but the three wheels, those we can
You
stop
have more grip.
faster, right?
Yeah. You have
Exactly.
another tire there to
Yes.
to slow you
Yes.
guys down. Yeah. Oh, that's so nice. Well, that's really exciting. I have, I haven't met many people that ride trikes yet, so it's an exciting endeavor.
Well, if we ever meet, we have quite a number of us. There's a lot of people switching. In the beginning, it was hard. Some people were thinking, no, we don't go there until we can't ride anymore. Or,
Hmm.
if they've had too many issues on mobility and, they got to go to a three-wheel, and that's when a lot of people make that decision to switch from a two-wheel to a three-wheel because they still want to continue and enjoy the feeling and the riding.
Mhm.
However, they just can't do, the two wheels and the lifting and the weight. So the three wheel is easier. However, a lot of people are just choosing that as their first bike because, you have more space, you have the trunk,
Mhm.
you can take a passenger. It has everything that, you know, any other motorcycle has on it as far as features, everything. So it's really nice and comfortable, and people enjoy it more.
Yeah, yeah, that's amazing. So with the trunk and everything, do you go like a lot of long distances or?
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would go on a couple of overnighters and really enjoyed the distance because then I could, pack a bag and do that. So actually, our ladies of Harley and our hog group, we try to go on at least one a month. So that way, in the summer we can see things. So, for example, we just went on like one a week or so ago where we went troll hunting in
Oh,
Washington. So it was pretty cool. We had to go to, I know, I didn't know we had trolls in Washington,
oh, like the statue trolls.
right?
Okay,
Right.
gotcha.
There's a
Yeah, I was
big
like,
wooden one in Issaquah in the park that you
yeah,
can go see. And
yeah.
it's Thomas Two Trees. And oh, it was really cute. And we took a picture and that it really exists. So that was kind of fun. And
Yeah, I live in Issaquah, so I need
oh,
to,
really?
yeah, I need to find this troll.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
there's several out there, and I did not know they existed. This year, what our theme is for our Harley is we do weird rides in Washington. So that was
mm,
the one we just went on. There was another one that we went to go see old barns. Uh,
oh,
there was then one they did Lolo Pass, going around, but uh, there was one that we're going to be doing where it's going to a ghost town, Elberton.
oh,
And yeah, so Dan, we're going to see the Muffler Man. We saw the Jolly Green Giant. And so it's kind of weird. We didn't know they had these kind of different statues or the teapot, the big teapot gas station
yeah.
in Washington. So we've been enjoying ourselves this year and seeing the sites that are in Washington, which is great.
Oh, that's so great. Because on a motorcycle or a trike, you can just get around. Like you can
Exactly.
just go.
Exactly. But now, I'm having just to ride in my car. So I'm the motorcycle support vehicle right now and taking that around. So I still get to enjoy going on the trips with everybody. I just drive in the car because I'm not able to ride right now. So,
Okay. Well, we always need that support car, that support vehicle, especially for, if anything comes up.
mhm. I get
So
to
it's,
carry the cooler, have all the cold water,
yeah. So you're everyone's
carry the
favorite
extra
person.
gear for everybody. So that works out very, very helpful. So people aren't having to weigh down their bikes because
Hmm.
it does ride different, your motorcycle, when you have a lot of gear. So I get to do that and support them, which is awesome. It really makes me
Yeah.
feel a good part of the group again.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm sure everyone loves you. Like they're like, man, I want some gear, or I want some water, or I want some food. Like you have all of
That's
it.
it. That's it.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, that troll thing sounds so cool. I'm gonna have to go look for these trolls. So it sounds like just in your 4 years of like really riding, you've had a lot of adventures. Um, is there any like particular moment in the last 4 years that has stood out for you or has shaped you as a rider?
Oh gosh. Just all the writing with the other, members. It's just the camaraderie that we have, not just in the Harley Owners Group, but our whole community here in Spokane. It's quite different than anywhere else. We have a lot of motorcycle groups here for as small of population that we have.
Mm,
But our whole mantra here is we support each other. We go on each other's rides. We all, support different nonprofits and things that we ride for. It's not that we do ride to enjoy it and ride to different locations and camp out and do that. But the fundraisers we have are all to serve as far as our community. So
mm,
we raise money for different nonprofits, as I said, children, veterans, a lot of different individual things that are going on here in the community in Spokane and Northern Idaho. So we kind of share all those events. What's great with Spokane here, Abate, we have been doing the calendar the last 3 years. So all the groups here in town give me their dates for what they have going on in the
mm.
summer. And we post a calendar on Facebook and online and in different stores in town and the motorcycle community. So that way people can see what's coming up and they can plan, what they want to go on. And we have the details there. So they all know then if the ride is open to them, we really try to support them in all the other ways. And then even during the non-riding months, we do either spaghetti dinners or we'll do like a hot wings contest. There's different groups that will do things. So we still try to stay close as a community.
Sounds amazing. I love spaghetti dinners. I love spaghetti.
Oh,
So,
good. Yep, being
yeah,
Italian myself, I kind of like different pastas as well.
pretty much any pasta. It's like, your Achilles heel. Like any pasta. It's like I'm gluten free or I'm carb free. And then I'm like, there's pasta. So,
Oh, really?
yeah.
Well, we
So,
do in February spaghetti, a sauce off. So we provide the spaghetti, and then we have people bring in different sauces that they put on there, that their favorite recipe. And so
yeah.
the cool part is last year we had about 18 different sauces
Mm,
enter the contest, and it was so cool because the people got to vote for their top 3, and it just kept changing between all 18 because, one
yeah.
vote would go in and then the other, so it was very exciting to see which people
Yeah.
liked. And what was so interesting is people would then make their own. So what happened was they would combine 2, 3, or 5 sauces and it would just taste really good how they did that. I
Yeah.
couldn't believe it. They would tell us their combinations and so then people had to go try those and see, what they thought of it.
Oh.
So that was the interesting part that they felt, pretty free to be their own creators.
Well, you might just find me there in February then, because
Okay, I will let you know.
that sounds amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty
Everyone
fun
just
and
gets,
exciting.
yeah, yeah. I love pasta sauce. So that sounds great. Well, I mean, that's one thing I love about the motorcycle community is that it's just such a family,
Mhm.
like family dinners, family, spaghetti sauces. Like, I don't know what's more family than spaghetti.
Oh,
So yeah.
exactly. Eating
Hmm.
together, going places together, having just riding together and getting that experience of being out and seeing all the great wonders that we have, not only in our state, but other states around the country. And that is what motorcycle riding is, just
Hmm.
enjoying the view and the freedom you have of riding in it.
So can I ask you a bit about, because I know you're into a lot of motorcycle safety
Mhm.
and, always developing your techniques and things like that. Have you always just been a safety person, or what's made you like really passionate about motorcycle safety?
Well, mostly safety because when my oldest son wanted to ride, I said, "You are wearing everything. I don't care how hot it is."
Yeah.
So both of my boys were full gear with the boots and everything, which is great and really helped them in their whole time frame. And then when I started riding, they were both shocked and said, "I can't believe this, Mom." And they're saying, "Okay, you better get your full gear on and always ride." And they would just tease me, even in the hot sun, "You better wear your gear, you better wear your boots."
Yeah.
Not going out in, sandals or thongs that a lot of people do. And I'm like, oh no, man, I can just cringe, just seeing
Yeah.
what would happen to their feet or their legs. And I said, no, no. So always with safety. But we had a gal in our group that told me about these classes, accident scene management classes that would train you on what to do if, uh, what to do in the first 30 minutes when there's an accident until, emergency vehicles get to you. And then she was doing a lot of research because here in Spokane, we ride in a lot of the rural areas that
Hmm.
it will take. And so then we were checking as far as different resources, and it was saying how long it takes for police or an emergency vehicle or even a helicopter if that has to come in. And it would take 45 minutes. Sometimes it would take an hour. If there was a fire or roadblock or construction or any of those things, it would take even longer. So
Hmm.
we started, unfortunately, to have a few accidents out here in Spokane that were happening in outerlying areas. The first one that we encountered, we were very fortunate that we had the combat vet riders with us. And they have, of course, medics, and they were prepared and took care of it really well. But then the rest of us were kind of going, oh my gosh, if they weren't there, we would not have known what to do. So she found out about this accident scene from Road Guardians and told us kind of what it was about. We'd have to have a trainer come in and do the class and everything. So our first year, which is actually now almost in January, it will be 2 years ago. And she found out about it, and we got all the information, and we got the Motorcycle Riders Foundation to give us a grant so we could do it. And now we want to do another one. It's in January. We got the date set, and January 10th and
Hmm.
11th here in Spokane of 2026. And we're going to do it at the Combat Vet Riders Outreach Center.
Perfect.
And it's going to be a great location, and we'll have more, information as we get closer so people can sign up. The first day we'll have a basic class, and then for those that have already gotten their training, either, the day before or 2 years ago, can go for the advanced class in the next day on Sunday, and then be trained in it. Because the first time we trained over 40 people here in Spokane and northern Idaho. And so we're hoping to train another 40 trainers so people can be prepared and out there, because they've had so many situations. And the emergency staff, when they arrived, they said, well, who's already been here? This is real
Mm.
organized and you have all the information. And we said, no, we have just all been trained and we know what to give you. And they're like, wow, this is great. And made it very, very easy for them. So that was a great compliment, to have, although we don't like those situations coming up, but we're at
Yeah.
least prepared. And that's what's very important, because we want to make sure and save lives and keep
Hmm.
people on the pavement.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's so important. I mean, obviously, in my line of work, I see it all the time. And it's just those first few minutes that are so critical.
Yes.
And you can't carry a lot of stuff with you, when you're a motorcyclist. So knowing what
No.
to carry,
That's
yeah.
the hardest piece. So, actually, we've got a couple of great first aid kits. They're not basic in any means. They have everything in there that we need for a tourniquet. If we need to do any mouth to mouth resuscitation, we have the barrier, especially if someone has a beard. It's really hard to do mouth
Mm,
to mouth. So, we have a special mask that we can put on them. So then that way we're able to still resuscitate them if that's necessary. And that is the most important part, is keeping them stable, not
mhm,
having them move, and then making sure to get the information we need and how to handle it. Because too many times people think, oh no, take the helmet off or do this. And it's like, no, you let
mhm.
emergency take off the helmet because you don't know what injuries are underneath everything.
Right.
You just need to assess the uh, visual things that you can see are wrong and just stabilize and keep all the looky-loos and everybody away so there's some air and we don't stress out the person who is there, and trying to, keep them alive and positive and vibrant.
Yeah. 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 Well, yeah, no, you hope it never happens, but definitely having people prepared there. Obviously,
Mhm.
whoever is injured is amazingly grateful, I would imagine,
Yes,
to have
yes.
people like you looking out. So
Oh,
that's
yeah,
that's
because that happened to us, when we had our training 2 years ago, well, about a year and a half now, but, we had it in January, and unfortunately, I had an accident on my trike
mhm.
just 3 months later in
Oh,
March, and I was very fortunate to have my Harley group with me, that we had several trained people. We had the other, black sheep as far as group that's out here there, and they were able to get me to emergency, you
wow.
know, help within a very short time period because I had one of those accidents where it's very serious. So it's an open book pelvic fracture where, if
Wow.
you don't have help within 30 minutes, you can lose, all of your blood. So you've got to get into emergency. And they did. They revived me and got me into the hospital. And unfortunately, they didn't have a trauma center there, but they were able to life flight me, and I had life flight insurance, thank goodness. And they life
Yeah.
flighted me to Sacred Heart here in Spokane, and it was quite a road to recovery. I'm upright and able to, walk with the help of a cane. Still trying to improve. Can't, get on a motorcycle or any of
Mhm.
that yet. Long rides, is quite a bit of pain for me in a car. So I have to kind of take it easy and, uh,
Mhm.
you know, manage that and manage the pain every day. But at least I get to ride now as a motorcycle support vehicle till,
Right.
either we see if I can get my whole body to cooperate and, because a lot of
Yeah.
times I have no control over the body anymore. It
Yeah.
kinda tells me
Yeah.
when that's enough.
Yeah. But it has to be, had to be a very scary experience to go through. Um, but you're back out there and supporting people, which is really great.
Yes.
Um, yeah, is it the training that kind of, helped you? Did emergency responders get there right away, or how did that
Oh,
work?
it was the training and, people that knew what to do, as far as keeping me very, very still, not moving my head or neck or the rest of my body, because they could tell from the accident I had to have had really bad injuries, and so they've got emergency. I, thank goodness, had all the good riding gear, because you don't ride for the ride, you ride for the accident.
Mm-hmm.
And so you've got to be prepared for that fall whenever it's going to happen. So I had all my Kevlar on, which was really good because when people look at my helmet or different things, they're my boots on, you know, they said, that's amazing. When they were looking at me, I don't see anything. And that's
Mm,
because now everything is internal. I didn't have
mhm,
injuries from as far as the waist up, everything,
mhm,
was ribs or the pelvic, hips, my legs, those
mhm.
kind of things. But everything else was good. And it was just a lot of work and a lot of
Yeah,
determination and, just focus and, want to just be back with good people and I
right,
don't remember anything about what happened in the accident, which is probably good. And but I do, know I enjoy it, and I want to make sure it's safe for everybody else too, because I had a great group of people with me, and I certainly encourage people to ride with other people, because that helps because you can't do things on your own when something happens.
right,
So you need
right,
that help, and they were there and got me emergency vehicles to help me right away. So that was the best part of it, is they were so fast and got things taken care of, where if they hadn't, or we weren't able to do any of that, and we didn't know, then who knows what else would have happened. So
right,
we're very happy on this, and we're excited that we got so many people trained. And I always tell them that, you can't go out and think it's not going to happen to me, because you never know what the road's going to have on there. So you got to
right,
be prepared for everything, or at least have people around you that see it and tell you, or that can help you if something happens. Because
right.
that's the thing, is a lot of times it just kind of comes up on you and you have no idea.
So was it, I know you said you're always into safety. How did the accident really shape, I guess, your view on motorcycle safety or on legislation? How did it impact you?
Mostly right now, what it's really helped is making sure, first of all, that the rider is, prepared, that they've taken their endorsement, their safety courses, everything. So they have the knowledge and they have what they have in their tool belt, so to speak, in order to ride and be safe. Of course, you always have to be very knowledgeable about what's going on around you. But what has really helped is making sure that all the riders have what they need too. And a lot of that is on, watching the road, making sure the legislation is there for them so they can ride safely. A couple years ago, we brought up at our Spokane chapter to the state of Washington an issue that happened, and now it passed and went into law now this year, and it's called the
Mm,
vulnerable victim legislation. And what it is that if anyone on, two wheels motorcycle, and what's nice is any legislation we pass as abate in Washington covers, like two wheels. So someone on a bicycle, on a moped,
mhm,
any of
mhm.
those kind of things, or auto cycles, whatever it may be, because now they've got other kinds of machines that aren't necessarily motorcycles, but kind of, sort of, kind of thing going on. So we make sure that now if someone is hit by anybody, that it is, an aggressive behavior. It's not just, oh, they failed to yield, or they,
Right.
did a wrong left turn. No, there's more penalties. So there's,
Mm,
a suspended license now that can happen if you hit a motorcycle. You can have fines. You may even have jail time. And there's other levies or different things that can be, added on. So that way it's more, you're endangering someone's life, and you really need to pay attention and watch out, because even bicycles now are getting hit more often than not, because people are not paying attention to what's around them. They're too
right.
used to looking for that box of a car, and there's so many other shapes now of vehicles and people riding on different things. They need to be more aware. So we're very happy we got that legislation, and even the legislation to cover your loads, when you're
Mhm.
going to the dump or anything like that, because debris flies all over and it gets in the road. And not only is it dangerous for, cars when you hit that and to your undercarriage or it comes up on your wheels, it's also dangerous to motorcycles because, you've only got those two wheels. And when you have something that big on the road, it, is very, very dangerous. So we need to
Yeah.
make sure and take care of those things.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's amazing legislation. So amazing work on your part, on your guys' part. Do you have legislation that you're pushing for or that you're working towards right now that you hope to get passed soon?
Motorcycle registrations have two weight fees. And unfortunately, cars don't have that. Motorcycles, it's not that they're heavier, so there's no reason for them to have these two
Hmm.
weight fees. They should only have one, and should be the same as cars. But
Hmm.
last year, we see it as a success because it didn't increase. So thank goodness it stayed at the $10 or $15 that it's at right now, where other registration fees increased on cars. The vehicles that are making the roads worse or making more damage need to be the ones that, need to be paying
Hmm.
more for the weight and the damage on the roads. So we're hopeful that we'll be able to bring that and get it lowered again, or at least not, increase anymore, and have them pay attention to that. We really need to have our voices heard, and that the road needs to be safe for us, especially now with vehicles that have like autopilot, that cars
Mm.
are autonomous. And unfortunately, here in Washington, there was another accident where an autonomous car, hit a motorcycle rider, and
Mm.
they're going to hit, bicyclists and everything because they just don't see them. Those
Mm.
type of things do not self-driving cars see as far as any of those things on the road. And I know in California, some of them, they don't let the auto cars go on the freeway. They just stay on
Mm.
the main roads, and they're not on the freeway, any of those cars that
Mhm.
you use. But still, you're going to have, issues with that
Right.
going on. And here in Washington, we've actually had quite a few with the Teslas hitting as far as people, and they need to be aware because everyone's life is important, not just, the many, but we need to look at individuals, and everyone needs to be safe and be able to share the road, and all of us get to where we want to go and be safe and know that everyone else is going to be safe at the same time.
Yeah. Well, that's what we want. I mean, I just remember when I was learning to drive, it was really scary, and I think we kind of forget, like
Oh, yeah.
it's actually still a scary thing. We just get kind of immune to it. But for riders, for pedestrians, for bicyclists, there's not a lot between us and the other vehicle or us in a
No,
cage.
no, and
Hmm.
they're making the lanes narrower, in order to
Hmm.
fit more lanes on the freeway. So I know they're just trying to be more efficient with the space.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a dangerous world out there.
Mhm,
So, and I definitely feel like as a rider, I feel like my life is in other people's hands a bit more. I mean, definitely with the safety training and all of that,
mhm.
but you're still, like you said, a vulnerable person on the road.
Oh, yeah, and
So,
you've gotta just keep your skills up, and,
hmm.
when you get back on, make sure your motorcycle is ready to go. So several groups out here that do a skills training every month just to make sure,
Oh,
if you need more assistance, we wanna make sure everybody has, the knowledge of what they need to maneuver around things, or in situations they don't feel comfortable, we help them through it. So we've been very fortunate here that a lot of us have that great mindset, and we want to make sure we all enjoy this hobby of writing and keep it so it's safe for all of us.
Yeah, yeah. Well, if people want to get involved in motorcycle safety, so in a bait or things like that, how can they get involved?
Well, they can certainly, see us on Facebook, and we are, Spokane Abate, one word, and we also have Abate of Washington. We have a website, abate-wa.org, and you can see us there. But also you can, connect with me on Facebook, Diana Picone, and we'll certainly get you involved or get information going. Every state has an abate, which is awesome. So we're all over as far as making sure to make it safe for all riders as far as on the road. So
Yeah,
we
but people
need
don't have to, they don't have to know legislation before they join or
no.
anything like that.
Right. All they have to be is a motorcycle supporter, enthusiast,
Hmm.
or did ride, whatever it may be. You don't have to be, a rider now, but just enjoy the feeling of riding and uh, motorcycles, even if it was your dad or if it was someone else who rode, and, you still support them and understand it and you want to come and help, we're right there. We meet every second Tuesday of the month at Combat Vet Riders Outreach Center here in Spokane off of Trent. So we'd enjoy them coming out and joining a group of just fellow enthusiasts and, helping make this community a better place.
Yeah, so I'm so excited. I'm excited, for the class in January. I know you said the Motorcycle Safety Foundation national meeting at the end of September. I'm excited for that. And just excited to be learning about the laws and the legislation to keep things
Mhm.
safe. For me as a new writer, I'm terrified all the time. So to know that there's people out there helping us and advocating for us, that really makes me
Oh,
feel better.
exactly. Yeah, that conference, the MRF, if you look for them online, Motorcycle Riders Foundation, it's the last weekend of September in Shreveport, Louisiana. So that
Yeah.
will be a great conference. And I'm very excited that Washington Abate asked me to go this year to represent Eastern Washington. So really happy to do that and bring back information to our members and our community and letting them know kind of what's happening and what's going on out there in the world, that they're not being forgotten, they're being supported, and they're here to stay and grow and appreciate this country as much as the rest of us.
That sounds super exciting. Well, I hope that I can make it. I hope to see you there.
I know, that'd be
And
great.
yeah, yeah. And I know I swear I don't go to places just for food, but obviously Louisiana has food as well. So I'm gonna go and have a good meal and get a lot of knowledge. And
Oh,
so
exactly.
mhm.
I enjoy, good food as well. So I've never been there, so I'm real excited to go
Oh,
and see
yeah.
what's going on there. And then, of course, be a sponge and learn as much as I possibly can. So that will be real exciting
Yeah.
weekend.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Diana. I love your passion for legislation and for motorcycle safety. And I am just going to look forward to learning from you in the future of just all the things
Oh,
there
thank you,
are out
Janelle.
there.
It's been wonderful meeting you, and also that support for our class, because it means a lot to us out here. And it's the only way that we could take it, because,
Mhm.
it does get quite expensive getting the trainers here because there's no one close by. So we
Yeah,
really appreciate that support. And
absolutely. Absolutely. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and